Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk a little bit about Solo Leveling episode 2 and just the Solo Leveling animated adaptation in general. So I'm going to be referring mostly to the episode 2 that just came out today. However, I may make small mentions to episode 1 that came out a week ago, obviously. But it was episode 2 that's gotten me really hyped for it, so let's just get into it. So I am a huge Solo Leveling fan, as can be attested by the fact that I have a video on the channel about a year old that says Solo Leveling, a masterpiece you never read, something along those lines, I believe. So I've really been excited and super scared for the anime adaptation for Solo Leveling. I've been super scared because there was a part of me that never wanted the anime adaptation, just because the two other manhwa adaptations that I saw, that was Noblesse and Tower of God, were so unbelievably disappointing to me. So I'll be super honest, I'm not 100% sure how the Noblesse anime adaptation was taken by people who had read the manhwa. I have not read the Noblesse manhwa, I'll admit to that right up front. However, I was simply not a fan. I did not even get through the entire season. I watched a couple episodes and I just gave up altogether. And the Tower of God adaptation was so mind-numbingly ridiculous to me. Like, the actual pacing of the show was so mind-numbing, and like I couldn't deal with it. Up until that point, I legitimately loved Tower of God. I wasn't all the way through it at that point. I believe I was somewhere within like mid 300 chapters, I think like 350, something along those lines. But the anime adaptation was legitimately so bad that I had to take an actual step back from the manhwa itself and just give myself some time away. And if I'm being honest, I never got back into reading it. I really should, but I really don't know exactly where I left off at this point, and I don't really want to try to find that whole thing out. But getting back into Solo Leveling. So I was super scared for this, just because as soon as I heard that it was getting only 12 episodes, I figured, okay, the pacing is going to be horrendous. I don't know how much exactly they're going to try to cover, but I presume they're going to try to cover a whole lot of the manhwa in 12 episodes, which is just going to lead to, really cool scenes occasionally where, they'll do a scene for scene, like, cut from the manhwa that they'll adapt in the anime, which will make super good like clips for those like anime Instagram accounts or whatever. But anyone who actually likes the show and actually wants to feel like they're actually reading the manhwa for the first time again is just going to be severely disappointed, because the pacing for this has to be really carefully done. Even in the manhwa itself, at times it feels like it's progressing way too fast for you to get any sort of sense of how things are being handled. So I was super scared, and especially with episode 1, that's why I didn't make episode 1 reaction, because I was left feeling a little odd. I didn't know exactly how I feel, and if I'm being honest, I haven't read any coverage, so I don't exactly know, what the general consensus on episode 1 was, but episode 1 left kind of a good sour taste in my mouth. It was a little odd. So, like, again, there was like a couple of really good scenes and everything that were adapted perfectly. The lines were adapted very nicely. That whole, like, when Sung Jin Woo's entering that, the congregation outside of that level, that E level gate, where everyone's talking about like, oh my god, well, like, why is everyone talking to that guy? Is he super strong? And they go, no, he's the world's weakest hunter. Like, that whole thing, it was really nicely done, but I feel like there wasn't enough emphasis on that whole, like, world's weakest hunter sort of thing for it to have the gravitas that it really had in the manhwa, where like you really understood that this guy really had nothing, and there was a lot more emphasis on his personal struggles in regards to that as well, where he talks about like, my mom's medical bills are coming up, and like my sister's still in school, and I just have this like shitty old sword that really can't do anything. And like all of those lines were particularly mentioned. Those 3 lines were said in the anime, but it didn't really feel like it had the importance that was given in the manhwa. So that's why I was feeling a little off. That's why I didn't really end up making a episode 1 review, because I was like, I don't really know how I feel about this. So I left it a little just to, see how episode 2 does, and maybe I'd have a better understanding now. And I am so happy to say that I really loved episode 2. So again, I went in expecting just bad, but it turned out it was pretty good. They got all the important scenes, and it felt like it had the heftiness that it deserved. That in particular, that scene when they're all inside the second chamber, and that statue does that insidious smile. Everyone knows exactly what I'm talking about, but obviously it's on screen as well. But oh my god, that scene was perfect. The sound effect on that smile was perfect. The way it panned up to the eyes after that was perfect. So it gave that gravitas that was really necessary to understand like how shit a situation this was for everybody, because the highest level they had was like a B rank healer, and that B rank healer is really just she faints at the sight of any grotesque, so it was not looking good. And immediately like everyone's shitting themselves and everyone's going, oh my god. And especially that one guy, I can't remember, I don't know if he even is named or whatever, but that one guy who immediately went, oh no, I just got a contract from a big agency, I'm not dying here, and he tries to speed out the door and just get fucking splattered, and all that are left are his feet, which was so cool because it was like a pan right before then to him like amping up his feet with mana to amp up his speed, and he just got wrecked. That was like super super nice, and that gave huge importance and huge value to how desperate this was looking for Sung Jin-woo in particular, like the world's weakest E-rank hunter. And you just see this, what I'm presuming is either a D or an E-rank hunter, just get splattered into nothingness. You're immediately going, oh dear Lord, right? So that was done really, really well. And then the whole him helping the healer and, telling Mr. Song, that, to take the healer and that he's going to die anyway because his leg's gone. That's not really getting healed and he doesn't have enough time to make it out. It gave all of that importance, was really, really nice. And the end where he's dying and he keeps thinking about like, oh my god, if I had another chance, this is so bullcrap that like, I try to help people and no one helped me, even in the end, after all I did to, explain to them how to survive and everything. The guys just went, I'm sorry, I really appreciate everything you did, but like, I gotta get out of here. And again, there's obviously two sides to that. You can understand why those people want to go home and see their families and that sort of thing, but you can understand how it feels from the point of view of Sung Jin-woo, who's literally dying there, and everyone only survived because he told them exactly what to do. So I am so excited for the anime now. Like, I am excited that they're giving it the importance and they're giving it the value and they're giving it the time that it deserves. The voice acting has all been really, really well done so far. Everything, the visuals, obviously, I never really had any concerns about. The visuals were always going to look good just because everyone understood how big of a manhwa this was. And if the studio messed this up, they were going to get a ridiculous amount of hate. So that wasn't something I was too worried about. And obviously, they're nailing all of that. But in particular, the pacing is something where it was a little off on the first episode, but they did a really good episode 2. So I have really, really high hopes for the anime going forward, and I'm so excited. So please let me know how you guys feel about episode 2 and the anime adaptation in general, because I'm super curious, because like I said, I didn't really watch any of the episode 1 coverage. I may try to watch some of that after the video comes out, so I'm a little curious. Please let me know how you guys think the anime is doing so far, and I'll catch you on the flip side.